everyone. Or morning or afternoon, of course, based on which time of the day you're watching it. The Chemical Engineering Student Society is back once again, as promised, with yet another of its very informative and exciting videos where we try to get as many questions of yours answered as possible about anything got to do with chemical engineering so that you guys are prepared for your interviews and placements. So today in particular, we are hosting Chem Darshan, the official interactive session of chess. And for this very special occasion, we have with us Mr. Saumyajeet Mukherjee, who has been the vice president of our very own chess. He has been the alumnus of the NIT DGP Chemical Engineering Department and has very recently passed out from alma mater in 2022 itself. He's currently working as a trainee scientific officer at the Bhaba Atomic Research Centre, popularly termed as the BARC.
Thank you for joining us here today, Bhaiya, and for giving us your invaluable time. So we have a couple of questions. Can we proceed with that?
Yes, you can.
So first things first, what has been the motivation behind this entire preparation for BARC or joining BARC, and where did you actually consider this a possibility, of you getting into BARC?
Actually, first of all, from the very start, I liked the subject of nuclear engineering. I was always fascinated by this subject. At first, the inspiration came from, I will say, books and films. After that, when I start to learn this subject from the net and from other resources, I got to know that this subject has a far more potential than it has been recently discovered. So this subject actually fascinates me a lot. So I then looked out for the opportunities available in India and also abroad. And I looked out that in India, BRC is the most suitable option if you want to pursue the nuclear engineering as your career option. So this was always a motivation for me. So I would say yes. And after that, I also when I went into NIT Durgapur and started chemical engineering, so I learned that chemical engineering has a lot more applications in this field. So I looked out for BRC as a suitable career option.
So when we hear names like BARC or DRDO for that matter, it feels like something which is very far-fetched and unattainable. So what your opinion is it something which is completely unattainable and once like 1 in 100 kind of thing, or it is actually pretty easy and just people are misled into thinking that it's very difficult? Like if we are consistent, can any one of us get into it? What is your opinion?
First of all, I will say it is not at all far-fetched. DRC, DRDO actually they are the best research institutions that you can get in India. So, but getting into them is not actually very difficult. If you are very much consistent with the basics of the subjects that you are studying, you will be this will be not a very difficult task for you. As BRC, DRD, all of those are the interview, the screening test, all actually focus that how much strength you have on the basics, how much grasp you have on the basics, so that they actually do not want very intelligent people. They want people who actually have studied, know their subjects, and actually have a like those subjects. They will take those persons because they will have that courage and the inspiration to carry on forward. Because in these institutions, you have to always be on studying mode. Like you will always be a student for the rest of your life. So it is not at all a far-fetched thing. If you have a good concept, you can.
Right. So all we need to do is be consistent and do our daily work probably and then we can just. Right. So about BARC, could you give us a brief description of what it is and what it entails? Like we can search up, we can look it up always in the internet, but you, someone who has got into it and has been working for a while now, what is your opinion on it?
So actually, BRC, as we already stands for Bhaba Atomic Research Centre. So it is actually a part of the Department of Atomic Energy, the Government of India. So it deals with all the kinds of research into atomic energy we know about. Other than that, it also has many other kinds of research which you can look up on the internet. But in BRC, you will get a feel of everything, like from R&D to engineering. If many people think that in BRC you will go only like do R&D, but actually it is not the thing. There are a lot more other stuffs, like if you want to go into other like core engineering stuffs also, you can get into those management things are also there. So it all depends upon the uh, positions that you get after placed into BRC. But obviously, uh, the main focus in BRC is all about research and development.
Right. And Dada, you did appear for Gate both, I believe, in 2021 and 22. And then, as far as I know, you secured like pretty good score in both of them. So, what has been your strategy behind like just what were your preparations? How did you prepare? How did you go about it? And any advice that you'd like to give to your juniors who are aspiring for the same?
So actually, I would not say that I have got pretty decent scores in both the gates. Okay. But obviously, like everyone's strategy should be different as far as I believe. But the main focus should be that like everybody should give the third year gate. I think that it is very necessary to give the third year gate, because actually it will give you the feel of that exam. Otherwise, when you first go, like many people think that at in third year many of the subjects are not completed in college, so I will not be able to give them. But when the seat for the first time in the fourth year exam, and many then what happens that they commit a lot of mistakes, and it is very natural for anyone to commit a lot of mistakes in the first gate they're giving. And then you have to go again for another year, and you have to apply for like you apply for a drop year, so you do
Hmm.
not do anything during that year. Otherwise you can go to industry and also work and simultaneously give it. But that is not a very suitable option, because it becomes very difficult when you go into a job to study simultaneously, as you are
Hmm.
working 10 to 12 hours a day in the company, and again coming and studying for this exam. So I will say that first you should get like from the third year itself, enjoy your second year, understand the subjects, get a feel of the chemical engineering as far as my subject is concerned. So after that, from the third year, like, but even in the second year, you should, the subjects that you are studying like fluid mechanics, heat transfer, those are normally in the second year. You should actually study them very like nicely from good books like Sengel. So you should study the subjects. Then at least you will have a head start. And after that, from the third year, be focused on GATE. There are many options available for studying GATE. You can enroll yourself into coaching institutions. You can join any like of the biggest institutions that are there in India for GATE. And after
Hmm.
that, like study at your own pace. And one thing is that you have to give mock test. Mock test is one of the most necessary things. Giving as many mock tests as possible, because mock test actually tells you that what mistakes you will commit. Because knowledge is not the ultimate thing. You have to also know the way
Right.
you have to crack those exams. So
So
that's it.
mock tests, takeaway points are mock tests, and another one is third years must prepare for the gate just to get a feel and the experience of it.
Yes.
Right. And I think it would be a reiteration, and you already did mention a couple of points, but still, could you clarify like what all materials should we refer to like for gate? Like what material should be our go-to materials kind of for the gate examination? Or books,
So
anything like even
yes.
mock exams that you did mention about any good sites or which we can always use for those.
So actually, when I was studying for GATE, there was a beautiful initiative started by an academy. Like they were teaching the whole GATE subjects for free. I think they also have those playlists now. So I actually
Right, yeah.
studied those subjects from those playlists, and it actually helped me a lot, because there were a lot of uh, topics that actually were not covered in our colleges, that were actually covered in those playlists. So I got a lot of help from those playlists. And apart from that, I please study the basic books. Many times people after enrolling into these institutions forget to study the basic books of those subjects. Like for fluid mechanics, I always preferred Sengel. So Sengel was my go-to book.
Hmm.
I had a copy from my library. And after that, heat transfer also, I followed Senjal, that was there, BK Datta was there. A lot of good books you will find in libraries of your colleges. Also, apart from that, mass transfer, you can go for BK Datta, Trevor, and CRE, there is Levenspiel. PCI, there is, I think, process control, you can go for Kafner, Stephanopoulos. And CPI, I think you should go for Dryden, but CPI, you should also get some material from any institution, because that subject actually has a lot of material into it, but all of that doesn't come in the exam. So it would be a waste of time to actually study the whole Dryden for just a few 4 to 5 marks. And for the mock test, you can like mock test. Good mock tests are available. Like many of the institutions actually have very good mock tests. I have heard from many of my friends. So you can enroll in those. Like I have heard from my friends about the EII, about Gate Coach, about Unacademy. So you can enroll in those.
And the previous year's papers as well, like, do they help solving?
For that, you should go to the unit operation website and have a subscription of that website. It's a very useful website because they have like listed all the previous year questions of 31, I think 21 to 31 years, and if by subject to by subject. So you should actually practice all the previous year questions, and like you should know that like after solving the previous year questions, you will have a greater confidence as well. So solving previous year question is very much important. I missed that point earlier, but previous year question is something.
Right. And Dada, as for subjects like maths and aptitude, which we used to do a lot back in like till 12, but now we aren't in very much in touch with that, and most of us tend to do pretty weak in maths as well. Personal experience I'm talking about. So how about that? How do we conquer that part of?
So I was advised by a senior that maths and like every engineer actually thinks that maths and aptitude they can, it is very easy because they know a lot about those subjects and can crack. But that actually becomes a game changer in GATE. Many a times, not even in GATE, even in many of the other exams that are there, because that portion many a times people tend to neglect, but that portion actually has carries a lot of weightage. So if you well, like 25 marks are from there, from maths and aptitude, so you have to study those subjects. Otherwise, your score will drop like nothing, because that two subjects most of the students actually do well. So here and there difference makes a like lot of impact. So you can study from any of the good books like Grewal. And for the aptitude, there are a lot of materials available freely on the internet. Otherwise, you can also opt for any coaching institutions. Another, I have purchased a book by Made Easy. So that book actually helped me a lot for engineering mathematics. I purchased it from Amazon. You can get it, and it's a pretty good book.
Right. And as for GATE, of course, like balancing out GATE and classes and all the other projects that people might be doing or internships, it's not the very easy job. So could you like advise us a bit on like the time management and how do we just juggle everything together? Like what should be the minimum amount of time devoted in a day for GATE preparation, solely for GATE preparation?
So this question actually I have a different opinion. For me that I think that the time management is obviously an important skill that you should have, but the amount of time you should devote for GATE actually varies from person to person. Some person can actually grab the concepts very easily and very quickly, but for me, always it has been worked out that I need a lot of time to study a subject, and that actually was a, I would say, a disadvantage for me, because it actually took a lot of time for me to study a subject. But if you study a subject and give a lot of time to it, you will also know the small details of that subject, which are very much important even for GATE as well as for the upcoming interviews that you will have to attend after giving GATE. So also, but you should not never neglect because of GATE the other interviews, the other internships, the projects. You should always enroll into those, because that actually will give a feel about the chemical engineering as a subject. And also, you like GATE is not always the ultimate option. There are a lot of options. You have to actually explore the options. So from this, what I say, the second year should be a year that you should explore yourself, enroll yourself into a lot of projects, like approach your professors. They will give you a lot of projects, and understand that what you actually want to like do in the future, because even in GATE there are a lot of sectors. So which sector you want to go to, that actually will, you have to identify that, and always enjoy your college life, because that 4 years is a, like golden years of your life. So enjoy that, enroll into clubs, so it will actually give you a like a way out from all those hectic schedules. And college, you should never neglect. Having a good CGPA is always a like good thing to have.
So does like about the CGPA, does it like matter like what CGPA do they look for in particular if we are talking about BARC? So do they look for any particular CGPA above which
60% the bare minimum is the criteria.
minimum?
Otherwise,
Yeah.
they do not look.
Otherwise,
But I will suggest that because like you cannot assure yourself that you will get a like every time the everything will not work out good for you. It can happen that the GATE exam you have not like performed well in the GATE exam. It can happen, and it happens. I would say from my own personal experience, I can say. So having a good CGPA will actually open other doors for you, because if you want to like have a keen on passion for research, like passion for research, you can go for to abroad institutions and also for IITs and NITs in our country. So for that, they actually require very good CGPAs, because for them the CGPA is the real criteria, one of the criteria I would say. But so have you a good CGPA in the college, maintain a good CGPA.
and the other, this is often a misconception, like especially for someone who has just joined an engineering college, like they think GATE is it. Like they often tend to compare GATE with JE, but it's nothing like that. Like after we appear for JE, that is it. Then we just have to go through the counseling procedure and we can get ourselves into one of the colleges or something. But GATE is just a prerequisite. So what would you advise someone like your juniors? Like what should they do after getting their GATE score, like in order to get themselves into a good college or job, whatever it is?
So yes, this is a common misconception that many of have, that after J, like we have got a good college, there is nothing in between processes. So, so same is for GATE. But the fact that many realize after giving GATE that actually they have to attend interviews and even for GDs, and those are pretty much difficult. Like for the GATE, I can say that for the BRC, so yeah, for the BRC we have to give the interview, and approximately like many people come for interview and they only select hardly 19, 20 for in chemical engineering. So the in interview also like they reject a lot of candidates. So GATE is not the ultimate thing. You have to actually have a pretty good background and a pretty good base, have a good basic concept about all the subjects that you are studying. Because in BRC, when I was studying for the interview, I got to know that the exam is come very much different from the interview, because in exam you actually learn many formulas, you learn the different tricks and tips to crack the GATE exam. Obviously you have a basic clear you should have a clear concept of all the subjects, but in case of interview you have to actually have a much more deeper understanding, because they will actually strike you upon the basics. So obviously you should prepare for both the interview as well as the like exam from beforehand, because for the interviews you will hardly get one time. So prepare yourself well for the interviews as well.
Right. And since we're already on this topic of GATE, like what is exactly, could you just elaborate it a bit, like procedures for getting into government institutions, like you have gotten into BARC, like some other DRD or ISRO, and how is this procedure different from other like PSUs like IOCL, or if you're talking about ONGC?
So for BRC actually releases separate advertisements. So BRC actually has two methods of entering into like there are two methods for entering into BRC. One is the BRC screening test, and another is the GATE. So I entered through the BRC screening test because my rank was not very much suitable for the BRC GATE process. So the BRC screening test, I can say the GATE is very much similar. That you crack the GATE, you have the score above the cutoff, and you can get shortlisted for the interview. But for the BRC screening test, we actually there is a separate exam where you have to answer 100 questions in 2 hours time. So here time is a great factor. because you do not have sufficient time to answer, like even think on a question for more than 1 minute. So after that, there is an interview process. For the PSUs like IOCL, I know that you have, after giving GATE, we will be shortlisted for interview. After that, there is GD, there is personal interview, and other like PSUs also follow the same process. Many PSUs release separate exams. DRDO releases separate exams. Like this year they have released. ISRO also releases separate exams. Other PSUs, many like HPCL releases separate exams. So there are a lot of PSUs that release a separate exam. So once you are studying for GATE, you are not actually studying for only GATE. You are studying for a lot of different exams. One should know for those exams. Look out for good groups in Telegram or in Facebook, which actually discusses about those exams. And so you will get to know about the advertisements that come out in the newspaper or in internet. So because there are a lot of small PSUs there in our country, which actually do very much good work, but many people do not know them and miss those opportunities. So I would say that there are, this is all the processes that you can have.
So, like, does studying for GATE more or less cover up the other like syllabus of all the PSUs or all the other government examinations? And the level at which like GATE exam is held, is it like the other examinations, are they at a lower level or like something which we have to prepare a bit more for?
I would not say lower level, but actually they are at par with each other. But obviously some subjects differ here and there. In some exams you can get a completely different subject new, but the main subjects that basic, fluid, heat, all mass are all are similar. Like every exam, if you are opting for a chemical engineering exam, so the subjects will be more or less same. Yes, sometimes general awareness can come, and other like some of the exams can even have less number of subjects. So this happens, but actually when you are studying for GATE, you are actually will have a good concept about all those subjects. So you will be pretty much like prepared for all the other exams. Obviously, you have to tailor yourself for suitably for any particular exam, but that actually just involves, if you want like revise according to that exam a little bit, it will be suffice. It will suffice for
Right.
you.
And does getting a good like GATE score guarantee our admission into any international kind of schools or colleges? Like, take for example the National University of Singapore, and get us into one of those abroad institutions. And apart from like the GATE score, like what exactly is the GATE score used for, like other than all these BARC and the government organizations that we know about?
So coming into the first question of yours, like that NTU,
Hmm.
like the foreign universities. So everyone like I suppose knows that GRE is the aptitude test that one should
Right,
take for
yes.
getting into foreign colleges. So many of the countries have like decided that GATE is also an aptitude test because it is also an aptitude test overall. So even GATE will actually qualify like GRE. So many of the colleges has it's given GATE also as an option other than GRE. So that GATE will actually only help in that GRE part. Otherwise, you have to actually have a good CV. So I was telling you about the projects. So for that, if you want to go
Right.
into good colleges, so you will need a good CV. But I would suggest that for getting into foreign colleges, you should not like study for GATE because it actually you should have a good clear basic about the subjects, clear concept of the subjects, but you should not actually study for GATE just for getting into foreign colleges. Uh, there are many other easy routes as well because GATE only 2 or 3 colleges at the most take from GATE in foreign college universities. So I would not suggest that it is a very good option.
Right. And talking about GATE interviews, like what has been your experience? Like, could you just brief us down a bit about the GATE interview and what exactly is asked? Is it kind of similar to the interview that one appears for in order to get into a company, or how different it is?
So I think you are asking me about the BARC interview. So,
Yeah, sorry, BRC interview, right? My bad.
so in specifically like when we give interviews for companies, so
Hmm.
they are actually they not only look for your the concepts like all the concepts, all the chemical engineering concepts. They actually also look for the personality that you have and all the other aspects. There is actually a separate HR part in most of the interviews. Also, if you go into the like non-technical interviews, they are also go for coding questions and also other stuff, something. But in BR's interviews, there is no separate HR part. They actually judge your personality a pretty like they actually judge your personality and also grade you upon that. I do not know actually that how they grade. Only BRC knows that how they actually select their candidates from the interview process. But I do say you should have like for even for BRC interview, you should have like a good personality. You should have a like good body language because they are much more like knowledgeable than you, and the attitude that you should have while giving those interviews should be like you are keen on learning something, because they actually look out for persons. I feel, obviously this is my perception, that they are looking out for persons who actually want to learn something. Many of the students I have heard that actually they it can happen that you cannot answer every question. It is not possible even for a person to answer every question. There are a lot of things that even you will not know, and they actually respect that thing. But they look out that you are not weak on the basics. They will question
Right.
the BARC interview. Even I have seen that in many of the other interviews companies, they actually ask a lot of very difficult questions. But in BRC interviews, they will ask you the most basic questions, and people tend to fail on those basic questions because they overlook the basic questions, because they say that this is very easy, and people overlook those things. But you should actually have a very basic about those like concepts. Coming to my interview, so that day was pretty scary for me, I would say. So when I went, there were panelists sitting there, and they will ask you a lot about on the basics of any of the subjects that you will mention during the interview. They will ask you that which of the subjects you want to actually
Mm.
prefer for your interview. So you will write those subjects, and they will question you on those subjects. There are like experts sitting on every subject there, and they will question you thoroughly on the basics. Even they will like you will. Many other people actually tend to think that they will not ask any question like any derivations or any design in those interviews, but they actually ask. So
Right.
because it is a pretty long interview, 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes, so even 2 hours. So for that amount of time, they can judge you on a lot of things.
Mm.
So have a like read your textbooks very nicely, read every point of it, understand it, and you will be good to go.
So just clearing out the basics, like just having a grasp of all the basics, basically, should get us to the interview.
Yes, yeah.
Like, yes,
Actually, even I
we get
cannot say
it.
that what can get you like through the interview, because I have not been like we do not know, because BRC actually doesn't reveal that on what points they judge you. And also it is not possible for them because judging can be
Right.
done on a lot of other options. But
Hmm.
everything, your attitude should be such that you are not keen on learning something. Even for the job interviews, if you
Hmm.
like have an attitude that you know everything, then that I can definitely assure you that you will be rejected. Because if a person wants to learn something, because you do not know a lot of things in the college life, because in college you are only exposed to the theories and the basic practicals only. But in industry, the industry runs on a separately different concept. Even BRC runs on a separate different concept. There you actually have to like look at the practical aspect of every of each of the theories that you have studied during these 4 years. So you have to learn a lot. Even for the first 10 to 15 years of someone's career, people actually learn a lot of things, and even for the rest of the life as well. So you should have that attitude that you are like keen on learning something, even if you have a less like concept, like you do not know something, it is
Hmm.
okay. They will actually respect that.
Right. And while we are attending the interview, should we avoid any cliches? Like, we should be keeping in mind that those kind of questions or answers should be avoided.
Obviously, one of the cliches that many people actually like do is that
Hmm.
even if they do not have an answer, they actually go on answering something pretty much in the wrong direction, and it actually like if you have given a good interview from the start, and in the last question you do something like give a completely wrong answer that actually overlooks all the good questions and answers that you have given. So it will be actually a high disadvantage for you, because you should not go into wrong direction. If you don't know, just tell them I don't know this answer. If you know something, you just explain that one and tell them that beyond this I don't know. But you should not never go into the wrong directions, because it will actually tell you that your concepts are not clear. Even you know that those answers are not right. So you should not never like answer a question that you do not know.
Right. All right. And since you've already been to that BARC training school, could you describe a bit us about that and what has your experience been like there?
So in bar training school, actually, this is an orientation course. In the advertisement, even they tell us that this course is known as OCES. So
Right.
this OCES is an orientation course for engineering and science graduates and postgraduates. So this course actually makes you fit for the industry that you are going into. So this 1 year course actually consists of a lot of subjects, and you have to study a lot. So be prepared for that. Do not think that after getting into work you can relax and have a like life. You will have a life. You will obviously have a life. In Mumbai, there is a lot of things that you can do, but obviously you have to study. There are many people, even now, as I am talking, are studying. So you have to study a lot while coming to work, because you are coming from the college where there's a lot of things that you do not know, and this gap actually is not they fulfill it through this course. So it is written in the advertisement even as that you have to score a minimum to actually qualify for the job that you are opting for. So this 1 year course, actually you have to attend and you will learn a lot. And I will assure you that this BRC training school is one of the most memorable experiences that you will have throughout your entire lifetime. That's all.
Right. And well, obviously, since you did go for BRC, you're quite keen on like chemical engineering and have grown an interest on that over the years. So could you describe your internships or projects that led you to choosing this path instead of going for IT? Because
So
many tend to go in that direction. Like, in fact, most of the people are going for IT these days, in spite of being like studying 4 years for a core branch.
actually, many people have an interest for IT after they come into even the core branch. So they should opt for IT because they have an
No,
interest.
that is a different thing. But many kind of like they get misled. Like there is nothing in core. Core is pretty boring. You have to study a lot. So IT is kind of it's easy,
So
a
yes,
bit easy.
I got your question actually. Yes,
Yes.
sir. So this is a misnomer, I would say. Many people are misled by the fact that there are a lot of less jobs in core, few jobs in
Mhm.
core industry. There are actually a lot of jobs in core industry. I would not say as compared to IT industry. IT industry is a pretty big industry, but in core industry, the main problem is that we do not have the required experience for these jobs. So either you have to go through college placements or through any like or this gate. But there are actually a lot of other companies also that like publish advertisements for taking in freshers, but that is actually the number of jobs. Those jobs are very less. But yes, if you are very keenly interested on the core subjects, you should actually strive for this like core subjects, because there is a lot of potential in this branch, even in chemical engineering. Uh, a lot of things are not actually discovered, and the world actually needs better chemical engineers now to actually lead this solve these problems. If you see that during this COVID time, even there are a lot of other new chemical engineering streams that have opened up. So I would not say that are less jobs, but actually during the initial few years of your career, it will be a pretty hard path for you. If you like, you have to constantly apply for jobs. I get a lot of questions even in WhatsApp that there are no companies coming for the uh, placements. So what will I do? So if you are like keenly interested in a subject, go for that.
Mm.
You will not regret. For the first few years, you can go, like you can study abroad. There are a lot of good opportunities you will get there. You can go to IITs, even better, like even NITs. You can go into this PSUs. There are a lot of options, but obviously you have to strive a lot hard for that.
Right.
The path is not easy for
Mm.
core students.
Right. It's a lot difficult and more hardworking procedure than it is for IT. Or probably, I don't know, I shouldn't compare between the two. And just could you describe your projects and internships that like probably led you to this, which like developed your interest over the years? What all projects have you done while you were in college?
So actually, I liked IT. I will not say I do not like IT, but chemical engineering was always a love for me. So I actually love this subject a lot, and I also love it now. But the projects, coming to the projects that I have done. So first of all, in the second year of my engineering, I
Mm.
actually did a project under our HOD, Dr. Gopinath Haldar, on so few topics, and actually that actually helped me a lot. I would say that these projects actually helped me to gain other internships. Using those projects and other even a good CGPA, I got into like the Indian Academy Fellowship and as well as the Jawaharlal Nehru Research Fellowship. I actually got both of that in my second year, but due to COVID, I could not attend any of this. But in the third year, that I can attend the JNCSL Fellowship, an industrial internship during your engineering, 4 years of engineering, because even if you want to go to research, you should know that how the industry works, because every research that you will do is related to the industry. You are an engineer and you have to actually know that how real engineering problem and like the solution works in the industry. So you should study those. Even you should actually be well versed with some of the softwares that are available for chemical engineering purposes.
Mm.
Apart from that, I had done few research internships, one at IIT Ropar, and also another research internship actually I have done. So you should actually do as many projects as you can, but you should not never compromise your studies for doing a lot of internships. I have seen a lot of persons that actually does 8 to 9 internships, but do not study at all, and they have a pretty bad concept about chemical engineering subjects. So you should not do that. You should have a good concept and do as many internships that you can like actually do. You should not also not sacrifice the personal life that you will be having, because you should enjoy your college, because also that will be pretty much important for getting
Right.
into job.
So the number of projects and internships don't really matter. Like we should be doing something with more dedication and concentration and know what we are doing than the like getting more number of projects on your CV isn't that important. It's more like the
Even if you
content that
do
you're
one
working
project,
with.
if you
Right.
even do one project, you should like have a like we will well versed with that project. That project actually should have any implication on the society. Doing a project that has no implication on the society will not help you, because even if you show it that in case of placements, they will not like, because that project is not it will not interest them.
Mm.
Having a project, even one project that actually has a lot of implications, will be a nice thing.
Right. And the other, since you are already in BARC, so we tend to hear that many companies or industries, they tend to send their, suppose the BTech students who are just fresh out of college for MTech abroad, or they just fund the entire like education. So does BARC have that kind of a procedure? Do they send their students to other institution for upskilling? Take for example, masters or to take some other courses.
So actually, the overall process I do not know till now, because
Hmm.
I have also been into this institution for a pretty like not very long time. Just for a few months, I have been into this institution. But yes, you get a chance to do your MTech. while being in this institution, that they will only assure you, like they will ensure that you will have an integrity. Even this
Right.
1 year course actually helps you into getting an integrity. So that's all I can say, because I also do not know.
All right. So I guess we have been having a lot of serious questions until now, so it's kind of like a breather in between. What are the perks that you tend to enjoy at your BARC training school as compared to college
So,
tech, for example?
first of all, that you will be getting a salary, you will have a financial independence. That is one of the things that
Yes,
actually
that is one of the biggest, yes, the biggest ones, money.
now I do not have to like ask everything from my parents
Yeah.
to buy it if it is within my budget. And also you get a very good view. Like this bar training school is located in such a like Anushakti Nagar, so
Mm.
it has really a good ambience. Everyone in this bar institution actually is very nice, and you will get a good atmosphere, and you will have a lot of people to interact with. This again, this bar 1 year training actually is a lot of like college, but here actually you learn the practical aspects of everything. Obviously, the training is rigorous, but you will actually spend one of the most memorable years of your life here. You get you get exposure to a lot of other technologies and other like subjects that actually you dreamt of while studying those 4 years.
Hmm.
Being in Mumbai, you can enjoy a lot of things. So it's a pretty good experience, I could say.
Right. All right. So I don't think so. I have any more questions from my side. I request the others, in case they have any other question or queries, please come forward and like shoot them at the other probably. Anyone?
Hello, Bhaiya. Good evening.
Good evening.
Uh, my question is, what is your source of inspiration to clearing the gate of the BARC exam?
My source of inspiration was that I told you that I actually like chemical nuclear engineering subjects a lot from the very initial days. Also, I had a really good. I had some seniors who actually helped me to clear through this exam, and also they helped me to well, like they motivated me a lot to actually get into this exam. So I would say there were a lot of inspirations for me. My seniors were one of those. Even uh, uh, the love for my subject actually was a great inspiration to be in the IFC.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you, Orgo. And so anyone else, in case you have any questions?
Bhaiya, hello Bhaiya. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Saumyajeet Samant from second year. So I have some questions like that. Bhaiya, most of the final year students, they are already they have the placements to the of the third of their mind that till September or October, which is the earliest they get a job from the campus. Yeah, in the most cases, and it is only after that they begin to think that the bigger means about the gate and other things. So what do you think that gate take place in the first week of February, and hence there is a huge craze about the gate. So that the craze about the means if you see that the videos, there are the huge craze claim that they can help in 90 days for the gate. But what do you think that it is really possible?
So actually, the 90 days and the 30 days also, even I have seen it. But actually, they depend upon the preparation of you. They actually mention at some point in those videos as well that that 30 days is subject that you have you have like cleared all the subjects. The 30 days actually is for time required for revision and for solving the exams. If you want to get grade, you should be pretty much clear from the third year itself. And if you are if you like have a passion, like you developed a passion for GATE in the 4th year, then you should be, like you can give it that in that year as well. You can crack that exam, even if you can have a good rank. But if you do not, you can study on for another year and give GATE, because you can, like there are, I think you can give a lot of attempts for GATE, so there is no like limit for that number of attempts in GATE. But studying in 30 days or 90 days, if you do not know anything, it's not possible at all. Obviously, when you are in the 4th year, you will have a lot of concepts, but those concepts will be pretty much crude. When you study for GATE, you will know that how to define those concepts, and then only you will be able to like qualify GATE. The 30 days time is only for like revision, questions, and other sort of stuffs. But if you
Yeah.
want to study from start, it's not possible.
I have also some question like that. So according to you, what is your approach about the strategy to prepare for the GATE?
So I believe that every person should have a separate strategy, because my pattern not similar to your pattern of study. But the basic outline is very much like common for everybody. That first of all, be clear about all the subjects. Do not leave a single subject. Even if you don't like a subject, study it more so that you will have a good understanding about the subject. The third point is that practice all the previous year questions. You should not leave even a single previous year question. You should have clear notes about all the subjects. You should not only study them and then just not make any notes and just I will remember those things I have studied. I will not make notes. It's very pretty much like hectic. So if you do that, you will forget it after 1 month, and after that you have to study again from fresh. Once have you studied a subject, you should have those notes so that after that you can just revise those notes.
So Bhaiya,
So after one from beginning, after you have studied a subject, you should not leave it for 2 to 3 months. After maximum 18 days, 15 to 18 days, you should start revising those subjects. So that at the time of the GATE, you have revised it a lot, so that it is pretty much imprinted. You know all the basics, all the like small details about those subjects. And last of all, you should give mock test, as many mock tests as possible.
uh, so Bhaiya, what I would think means if our mindset is okay about the GATE and our note is already ready for the GATE, so you think that it is possible for the last 90 days or last 100 days after the campus placement? Is it possible? Our
So
mindset
that
is
will
okay,
depend.
and our note and all other stuffs is ready for the GATE.
That will depend upon you actually. So you can crack it. I have seen people to crack the GATE exam in 90 days, in even 30 days, and even not crack for like for studying for 2 years. Even they have not cracked. So this happens actually. It is not that those who haven't cracked is there, they do not know anything. That day also plays a lot of importance in those exams, because those 3 hours, what you will do in those 3 hours is the most important thing. You can know a lot of things, but even not crack it. If the person who is getting a AIR 1 and the person who is not even cracking it, that person who is not cracking it can have a lot, like can know a lot many concepts than even the person who is getting AI1. But that AI1 person actually knows that how to perform in those 3 hours. Like be calm, be patient. Many of times, even I have faced this problem that when we get a difficult question, we actually get overwhelmed. And that actually becomes a problematic thing for all the other questions, because it is a time exam. So those 3 hours, you have to complete as many questions as you can. So it happens. Even silly mistakes are the most common factor for a lot of people for not securing good ranks.
So do you believe that basically in the YouTube platform that there are many type of things here and there? The video is shown that the 2-3 months preparation or 5-6 months preparation that is enough for and for grab a good rank. that type of means grab good AIR rank under 100 or under 50? Is it possible, and is it you believe that?
6 months can be possible, but 90-30 days is not possible if you start from fresh. You should not actually see those videos a lot, because that actually sometimes we feel good by seeing those videos because we know that we have not studied at that point. Even I have done that, to be very honest. But like they are like way out for you. That many people think that we will not study now and see those videos and motivate us. Okay, 90 days is enough. I now have 120 days. But at the last, you will realize that you have 10 days and you have not studied anything. So you should actually see those videos a lot.
Okay, Bhaiya. Thank you.
Thank you, Shomodeep. And do we have anyone else with their questions?
Good evening, Bhaiya.
Good evening.
Bhaiya. Yeah, my name is Ishmael from Chemical Engineering Department, second year. So, Bhaiya, I would like to know your suggestion for aspirants who are working at full-time jobs but still harbor the dream of acing GATE. So,
This
can you please tell?
one actually depends on this one also depends on you, because after doing 10 to 12 hours of just it becomes pretty much difficult for anyone to study exam like GATE. So you have to have that kind of motivation. After that tiresome day, you have to, like, even if you sit for 2 to 3 hours per day, you have to like have that motivation that you can continue for studying for the 3 hours. So it is possible. I have seen a lot of people to actually crack GATE while studying for, like, while working, but it is pretty much dependent upon you. So if you have that motivation, if you have that passion for like the job that you want after GATE or the colleges you want after GATE, you can be able. You can crack. It is possible.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you, Yash. And anyone else? Just going to ask for one last time. Does anyone have any sort of questions for Dada? Otherwise, we'll just call it tonight or day, depending on whenever you're watching it, of course. So I believe no one else has any other questions. So that's all we had. So Shomajita, I'd like to thank you once again for having made time out of your busy schedule for us and joining us here today, and of course solving all of our questions and queries that we had. And it has been a great session today, and Chess would definitely like to keep in touch with you, and we hope to find us again with us in the future. And as for our viewers, it's a very humble request to kindly like and share the video, and of course let us know in the comments down below whether you found the video informative or not. Chess promises to get back to you all as soon as possible with more such informative and interactive sessions, which would definitely provide answers to all your queries, be it about industries or placements or any other companies. Just you ask it and we'll be delivering it to you. So that is all that we had for you all, and just signing off.